Success. Let's check it out again. Put on the brake. What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'll show you how I modernize my old classic Mercedes for less than 30 bucks, and it's pretty insane. Let me show you what I did. If we walk here and we look closely, I know you see a bunch of wires, but you see, if you look there, check this out. It is so cool. Let me show you how it works. And I still have it opened up, all the ignition switch stuff. I got it to work properly. I'll show you how it works, and then I'll show you exactly how I installed it and made it work. Okay, so if you don't know, I bought this car from auction. It was stolen recovery, and it came with no keys. So it didn't have keys, and these old classic Mercedes, to get an ignition switch is over 300 bucks used. Like, you're not even getting a new part. So to solve this issue, instead of paying 300 bucks, I bought this universal push to start kit for $25. Now, this kit is awesome for many reasons. Like, it comes with the module, which is the brain for all of it. And it also comes with RFID keys. Like, these keys are, if you don't have these keys, it's not gonna start. Also comes with the RFID antenna. That's what identifies these keys. And it also came with a push to start button. And here's why this kit is awesome, because they made it simple to wire this up. Like, they make it very simple. So this diagram shows exactly how the kit is wired up. Again, if you plug in the push to start, and you have the antenna and the brake wire here. Now this connector, which is the main connector here, it comes with very simple wiring. So you have the red and black for positive and negative, preferably from the battery. And then you have a few other wires. So you have ignition 1, the white one. You have the yellow is the starter, and the blue is accessories. I'm not going to use that. Some vehicles have accessory mode. I don't care about it. I don't have it. I'm not going to use it. So I'm just going to cut this and tape it. And then you have the ignition 2, which is brown. Now, basically, to identify what's ignition 1, what's ignition 2, I disassembled my ignition switch. And let me show you exactly how I identified everything for my car. So you can follow the same process for yours. And yours, probably the setup is going to be different if it's not an old Mercedes. And you may have an immobilizer that you may have to connect directly. Now in this kit, they recommend that you cut the key and just keep your ignition in the on position for a couple things, the immobilizer and the steering lock. Now in my case, I don't have an immobilizer, which makes it a bit easier, and I just removed my steering lock. So I just disassembled it and removed it. I don't have a steering lock. Now here's what I did. Here's the most important part. So I disconnected my ignition connector here, and I identified what was power and what was ground. So I brought my voltmeter, and I found that these top 4 pins are grounds, and the number 30s are power. Okay, now after identifying which pins on the connector are the power and the ground, I went to my ignition switch. Okay, so here's my ignition switch, and you can see this is the off position, and this is position 1, this is position 2, and this is crank, right? So I turned it off, and I saw what gets power. So I had my voltmeter, and I put it on continuity, right? So when we have continuity, it beeps. So I put it in the off position, and I checked what has power. So after I identified the power and the ground from the car, I transferred it to over here. So it's pins 30 gets power. So this is 30, and this is 30 right here. So these are power pins, positives, and these 4 are the ground. So I checked continuity between 30, and I saw what gets power when in position off, right? So these are the power, right? And then I turned it to the 1 position, and again I identified what gets power. See that? That gets power, 15. All the 15 pins get power. Right? And then in position 2, all the 15 pins and a couple other pins get power. So you gotta run through this with your specific ignition switch and write it down. What gets power when it's completely off? What gets power in position 1? What gets power in position 2? And then what gets power in crank. Now when I crank, pin 50 gets power for me. And then you gotta realize that the fuel pump needs a signal to continue to supply power. So initially when I installed this, it would crank and not start, and then I found out that this pin here, 30Z. Oh no, my bad. 15Z here. This pin here gets power after the ECU sends a signal to the fuel pump that the car has started, so continue to work. So it makes the fuel pump continue to work. So after I supplied power to this, the car would stay on, and everything worked perfectly. And that is already installed in the car, as you can see, but I took everything off just so I can show you. Okay, and that's how it looks for me here. I didn't want to butcher the harness. I want it to be reversible at any time. So I installed it like this. Now all I have to do is basically wrap it with electrical tape and secure it and make sure it's never gonna come loose, and hang this wherever I need it to be, maybe here, maybe behind the switch, maybe somewhere down here, I'm not sure. And also tuck this in and make it nice and hidden. Again, I gotta give it ground from a solid ground somewhere down there. Also, I gotta run this is the brake signal wire. So this is I'm gonna tap into the brake switch behind the brake pedal, down in there. Okay, now that we got everything wired up, mocked up, we're gonna test the system. These are the RFID keys on the antenna. Recognized it, and then foot on the brake, and then success. There it is. Works like a charm. Just try and turn it off. Now we can forget about the belt squeak, but I think we got it done. Okay, and now we have a working push to start. Now we just gotta button everything up, tuck it in, and yeah, make it look all nice and clean. I mean, the button I think looks very, very nice there. I think we have installed it successfully. And that's how you install a push to start on an old Mercedes, or you can follow the process to install on any car that you want. As long as you have some electrical knowledge, you can identify position 0, which is off, 1, and position on, which is 2, and then cranks. Again, don't forget about the fuel pump signal. After the car starts, you gotta find that out and just put it all together, make sure it works before you button everything up, and success. Let's check it out again. Put on the brake. Okay, keys on the antenna, there it is. Yes, success. Works like a dream. Look at that. Very, very nice.